Hello everybody, it's been a while, I know, but finally I'm done with my comic book project, so expect to see me more often here in the new year. For today I have something special. This set of watercolors was sent to me quite a while ago, and these aren't just watercolors, no, these are crystal colors, as you can see on the packaging. And I guess you can see that these are really old. I guess 5 years old or something. Yeah, I played around with them for a while, but quickly noticed that with these boys you have to be very careful, as one grain of that can mess up your whole painting when it's at the wrong place. They came also in like these white little containers that all look the same, so there was no easy way to distinguish them. But now that they are all looking nicely, I thought I try a video with them, and even though I don't know what will come out of it, at least I can show you that this stuff exists. First we are going to swatch them, as they have some weird properties that I want to show you, and after that we actually try to do a painting with them. I prepared a sketch, but I actually don't know if it's going to be ruined. But that's the challenge. And talking about challenges, if you want to challenge yourself by learning a new skill or finally want to get on that New Year's resolution you've been planning, today's sponsor Skillshare will give you the right start. Skillshare has classes on almost anything you can imagine, from drawing and painting all the way to web development. And the best thing is that you can follow them at your own pace. Classes are made up of both video lessons and a class project that you'll be working on one step at a time. For some topics you might even be able to squeeze in a lesson or two on your daily commute. Much like I'm trying out a new paint today, you could for example learn to paint with gouache, which is a class by Leah Gorin. Compared to in-person classes or workshops, Skillshare is very affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. So make 2020 the year where you start exploring new skills, or dive deeper into a hobby you're already interested in. Get started by clicking the link in the description to get 2 free months of premium membership. As I warned you before, with these colors you have to be extra careful to not spill them around anywhere. So I have a little construction that I made myself. Also, if you've wondered why every color has like 2 spots, we are going to first just watch the color with a bit of water, and after that I'm going to place a drop of water on each of these spaces and sprinkle some pigment on them. So let's have a look how lemon will turn out. And yeah, it's yellow. Okay, this might be even too much. Anyway, then this is going to be a bit deeper. And yeah, I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's like salt in it, I guess. That's dissolving a bit more slowly. And it's also a bit more granulated, if I see that correctly. This color is a bit weird. So another tip, never open them above your painting or paper or whatever, because again, they can mess up everything really quickly. Okay, this is a better amount. Okay, this looks quite similar to the golden yellow. It's maybe a bit more vibrant. Not as much salt in there. Okay, this looks just like the other reds? I don't know. So next up we have Brilliant Red. Another red. They have a lot of reds there. So let's have a look if Brilliant Red is actually brilliant. You better keep your promises. What a surprise, looks exactly the same. Like, so is it the same color 3 times? Yeah, on the screen it looks also very similar. I would say maybe this is a bit darker. Maybe. Do you think these 3 are different enough that you would have different uses for those? I could have done with 1 fewer red. But here we have another red. It's crimson this time. I have a scoop and a bit of moisture. Alright. Oh yeah, this is nosebleed color. This looks like nosebleed. I mean, reds are quite the difficult color. Every time I scan them, they merge to 1 blob. If you use these 3, they definitely will be 1 blob afterwards. I don't know if this is going to be my favorite tone. Usually I love violet watercolors. Oh yeah. It's very blue. It's more like an ultramarine. Not as much violet. I mean, I don't know. You could say it's violet. But I tend to think it's more blue. No, I would have liked like a more reddish violet. Maybe purple is the right choice then. Oh yeah. Okay, this is going to be, this whole thing is quite, I think how am I supposed to? Actually, the fear is real, like this stuff stains on the floor and stains on your clothes and just everywhere. I'm ruining everything. Why so purple? You're already disqualified for my favorite color. This tone at least deserves the name. I mean, it's pretty purple. Alright, try to clean that mess. You can see the aftermath. In the jar, it looks like some darker pigment mixed with some salt. It has this kind of texture, so they have different textures. So let's have a look how this turquoise performs. And meh. This looks like cyan. This is like basically a better cobalt blue. And with the leaf green we have actually something very interesting, like something that I found really obscure when I refilled these plastic jars into these glass jars. Because as you can see, this pigment looks yellow. It looks very much yellow. And with the green tones, we come later to them as well, but a lot of them look like different kinds of yellow and ochre and stuff like that, but they actually turn green. Let me demonstrate that to you. Again, it looks really yellow on paper, but if we add water to it, it turns green. I think this is like the coolest and strangest aspect of those colors. Next up is emerald green, and as with leaf green, it looks slightly more yellow than green. Very green color. And this one has even like a higher blue shade to it. Judging by the jars, I would say this one is darker than this one. Let's have a look how this will turn out. We start with the light brown. That actually looks darker. Pretty nice chocolate tone. Oh yes, I think this is more on the reddish side. It's very similar though. Only nuances between those two. But it's a bit more reddish. And then we have gray. And gray is really interesting because it looks like olive as a pigment. And yes, okay, it's a dove gray. Okay, this is the jar with the black. It looks really dark brown. We have enough experience now that the color of the pigment doesn't necessarily match with the color on paper. And I mean, yeah, okay. I guess this black is a derived form from the dark brown. But when you lift up the color, you see like, okay, it's now turning more into the gray, vibrant, violet. Next one is a white tone, which I don't know if it's necessary to have like a white tone for watercolor. You would rather use white gouache because it's more covering. I can't imagine that this will turn into like a gooey white paint. As expected, the white doesn't cover anything. It doesn't look nice, I don't know. Anyway, now to the main event, which is sea green. And this one looks really like a dirty ochre. Like again, with the other greens we have like some more yellowish tone. But this is like, I guess, by far the one with the most blue inside. So yellow and blue. Magical. This one has a really nice, it's like a phthalo green, like a very bluish tone, very vibrant. Alright, so now that we have done the swatching, we will have a look at how these colors will look like when we sprinkle them on the little droplets of water. Because the colors come as powders, there is not only one way to swatch them. When you sprinkle them on a wet surface or a drop of water, you can see what different tones the colors are made of. The reds and oranges are pretty monochromatic. But with the purple, you can already clearly see that it's not just one fixed color. It consists of purplish blue and red pigments. With the greens, it gets even more obvious. In the jar, the color already looked nothing like the label said, but in the drop of water you can see the individual grains dissolve and mix. Personally, I'm a bit torn about stuff like this. On one hand, if you're working on a painting for hours and you grab a color like this with the intention to get a specific green tone, or violet even, it might end up turning into something you would rather have avoided. On the other hand, it might even turn out better than expected. A major theme of these colors seems to be the risk of happy and not so happy accidents, may it be through spilling the powder or through unintentional color shifts. As a matter of fact, it doesn't help either that you open the gates of hell if you sprinkle them in a big pot of water. No, I'm just kidding. This is actually really pretty, even though it's not helping much with painting. Or maybe a little bit. This way we can at least identify what tones we are dealing with in detail. So now let's get to painting. Since I wanted to get more familiar with the colors, I started with a motif I think that they are a perfect fit for: galaxy paintings. I sprinkled the colors I liked on a sheet of paper and then activated them by spraying water on top. On the wet surface I added some more powder and spread the colors with the brush. And what can I say, for this kind of purpose the colors work really well. They look really vibrant, and having that revealing moment when the water comes in is really fun, almost like the pouring technique where you never know how it will turn out. This however is not so great when you work on something where you really need to have control over your paint. So for my next painting I only used some blue tones first to create an abstract first layer that I can work on top in case something goes wrong. And I can't deny, I felt really anxious the whole process that one of those pigmented grains accidentally gets on the face or somewhere it would really mess up my sketch. Luckily everything went okay, but I decided to go back to my normal watercolors as I don't want to challenge my luck anymore here. Only for a few more darker effects I added another layer of the crystals. Not without adding a layer of masking fluid of course, just in case. Anyway, for the rest of the process I again stuck to the tools I know: watercolors, pencils and white ink. But with colors this unpredictable, I prefer to play it safe. Let me know if you have any ideas on how to use them. Would you be brave enough to consider them for more elaborate pieces? Comment down below. After all, I have to say that I'm a fan of the concept. Sprinkling colors on paper sounds quite fun after all, but if you're working on delicate paintings you end up paranoid really quickly. Is the color choice right? What colors will dominate in the mixture? Will they flow in the right direction? And most importantly, how the hell can a colored grain of salt ruin my whole painting? Like seriously? And yes, I see you too. I didn't even use yellow. I hope you liked this video. Again, expect to see more from me as my comic book is finally finished. So make sure to subscribe and hopefully we will see each other again next time.